I made a video a couple of days ago predicting that conservative media would not want to cover the George Floyd trial, with one exception being Tim Pool. That actually happened. Now, 5 hours ago, I made this video. Was I right again? Let's find out. Liberal media never wants to cover the riots. Whenever Antifa is rioting or any of those groups are rioting, they don't want to cover it. Whenever there's peaceful protesting, yes, this is a great moment in history and civil rights, this and Martin Luther King, whatever. Remember, this is a business. Conservative media, business. Liberal media, business. What sells in liberal media, I'm thinking there is an angle that they can make money with, and they're probably going to try to make that angle. So this is going to be the reason why this happened is because of all of the radical left. They're winning. All of this bullying tactics, and it's basically like they put a gun to the head of the whole city because they knew if they didn't do something, they were going to burn down the whole city, and this is out of control. This is mob rule, and da 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 da. And George Floyd, he had drugs in his system, and da da da, and now this is going to incentivize more of this stuff. Now more things going to happen, and when is this stopping? And Joe Biden, he's not even doing.
Minneapolis approves historic $27 million settlement with George Floyd's family. They say the city council voted 13-0 to approve the settlement, which directs $500,000 to be used to benefit the George Floyd Memorial Site at 38th and Chicago. Do you know what that means? I'm going to build the suspense on y'all for a minute.
13-0, really?
This past weekend.
Yeah.
The George Floyd Memorial Site, which is an autonomous zone, someone was shot and killed.
Yeah.
The city has just announced they are going to fund this Antifa autonomous zone to the tune of $500,000. Mm-hmm. That's the degree to which this insanity. I'm sorry, James, you may say that you're a little pessimistic, but boy, am I getting pessimistic on this one. $27 million in a civil settlement to the family. Look, I'm upset the guy died. I don't like it when anybody dies.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say he cares as much for George Floyd as liberal media cares about Jacob Blake.
27 million, historic. Why? Because the terror worked.
That's right.
The burning down the cities, it worked.
So this is going to be the reason why this happened is because of all of the radical left. They're winning. All of this bullying tactics, and it's basically like they put a gun to the head of the whole city because they knew if they didn't do something, they were going to burn down the whole city, and this is out of control. This is mob rule, and da 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 da.
That's right. So what are you going to see? More fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're giving $500,000 to these people.
And now this is going to incentivize more of this stuff. Now more things going to happen, and
Now the crazy thing too is Chauvin is still on trial. And so you have these jurors who are supposed to be coming in and being asked if they can remain impartial, and now they're going to be told, in the civil case, they've already won. Clearly he must be guilty of something the city's agreed to settle. How can this guy get a fair trial?
O.J. Simpson lost a civil case.
Wasn't it?
I think the civil case was after the criminal case, though, in his case. It's funny phrasing. I don't know the history of civil case, criminal case, the adjunctives of it. Like, is there precedent for doing a civil case first, finding them?
I'm not a lawyer. I have no idea. I do know that, this was a wrongful death, and that he's being tried for murder 1, right?
No, murder 2, 3, and manslaughter.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, who knows then? Because the city is sort of admitting fault here.
Yep.
And
I can't see that.
I don't see how you. Yeah, I mean,
I guess theoretically, maybe the judge will be like, no, you've got to separate that. And maybe when it comes to the defense, they'll say a settlement is not an admission of guilt. The city just simply thought paying out would be less expensive than the damage. And he might actually say the fact the city thought $27 million was cheaper than fighting the suit shows what they really feared was the riots from the extremists who are trying to destroy the city.
So I'm thinking they're going to jump out the woodworks on this one because this is kind of juicy for them to exploit, to play little games with their audience. The audience will fall for it, just like liberal media falls for whatever liberal media does. The liberal media viewers, they fall for this stuff all the time because they're pandering to you. They're validating your beliefs. So they put stuff out there that they know that you're going to automatically be like, oh, I knew it, right? So conservative media, this to me is hot. So let's see if I'm correct again. I called it about how they would not want to cover it in the beginning. They would just be waiting for riots. Now I'm calling it again. This is going to be an entry point for them to jump in and start exploiting it. So that's my call. This is the Debate Me channel. Debate me in the comment section below. Click on the like button, subscribe, smash that bell.
thank you. Thank you to our great president, Joe Biden, our great speaker, Nancy Pelosi, and a special round of applause to all the Senate and House members who are here and those who are
pay for the right to kill us, but you ought to pay for the damages that you do cause.
So on that note, Rev, can you just speak to the significance of a judge allowing the additional charge of third-degree murder?
I think that it is significant in the sense that it.
That's what our job is now, with the Biden administration, and you'll see our ratings, really improve from here, and we'll do so for at least the next 4 years.
So their job is to be in opposition to Joe Biden, not to be honest, not to inform their viewers about what's really happening. Their job is to be opposition to Joe Biden. So that means if Joe Biden does a great job, it'll be their job to make it seem like it's not. Can't be in opposition to someone if you don't call them out. So if they're doing a great job, that means you gotta talk about tan suits or the Fox. Rick?
Fox News as a journalist now for several months, and what I'm hearing from Fox News insiders say is that Fox News' CEO Suzanne Scott is little more than a figurehead, that Rupert Murdoch and Lachlan are steering the ship, and that Suzanne Scott is quote-unquote a good soldier to the Murdochs. She listens to what they say, she executes their orders, just as she did quote-unquote for Roger Ailes. We've seen recently in January what was called an ideological purge of fact-based journalism by staffers inside of Fox News on the digital side. So they feel as though they're being very controlled and that there's been a larger pundit to go more into right-wing opinion programming.
Very much focus on the center right. We think that's where America is. 75 million people voted for a Republican president, sometimes in spite of his personality at times.